What is up, everybody? Welcome to the MMA Engine. These are my final thoughts for UFC 276. We have Israel Adesanya going against Jared Cannonier, along with 11 other very good fights. The co-main event, Max Holloway, Alexander Volkanovski, a phenomenal main card. Sean Strickland, Alex Pereira. We have Sean O'Malley, Pedro Munhoz, Robbie Lawler, Bryan Barberena. A very fire main card and some good prelims as well. Like we have Jalin Turner, Brad Riddell. We have Jim Miller, Donald Cerrone, Andra, Muniz, Uriah Hall, Dricus, Plessis, and Brad Tavares. This card is phenomenal. Cannot wait to talk about it. Cannot wait to break it down. Talk about my bets, some DFS as well. A little bit of the weigh-ins. I was watching the ceremonial weigh-ins. Got all the way up to Sean O'Malley, Pedro Munhoz. But yeah, it should be a fun card. As always, before we get started, guys, if you guys can please leave a like on the video. Subscribe here to the MMA Engine. Let's just keep on growing the channel. I think we're at 1.3K. You guys have been killing it in terms of the support, and it does mean a ton to me, Uncle Weezy, Lou Becci, and Monk, the four of us here at the MMA Engine. Let's talk to the chat a little bit, then we'll get started here. We have Tony, first one in the chat, saying, "Hey, Brady, let's cash some tickets. Shout out to whomever made the final schedule for this card. Getting the Jesse low-level fight and the Maycee Barber Hugfest out of the way first is great." Absolutely agree with you there, Tony. Luke saying, "Brady, where can I find your bets?" Twitter. I'll be talking about my bets right now, and I also am going to be posting a betting breakdown video on my channel, DFS by the Numbers. That'll be out in about an hour. We got Andres in the chat saying, "Let's go, let's go." Andres saying, "This is going to be my most winningest card yet. I can feel it. I hope so, man." This is a card where, from a betting perspective, I really don't like it at all. From a fan perspective, I cannot wait for this card, but I only have 4 bets, so we'll see how it goes. Not a ton of spots sticking out, to be honest. We got Sean in the chat saying, "Let's go, Brady. Let's go, Sean." Level up in the chat. Oi, let's cash at this card. I agree. And folk the bookies as always. We got David in the chat. What is up, David? How you doing, man? We got Spencer in the chat as well. Let's get it. Let's go, Spencer. When is the betting breakdown drop? It'll drop around 8:15 p.m. Eastern time. We got Bill in the chat. What is up, Bill? How you doing? We got Adam saying, "Hype for this card." Yeah, me too. This card's phenomenal. We got Jan in the chat as well. Wow, I just watched Face Offs. Riddell definitely lied about his height. Somebody lied about his height, man. I think they're supposed to be 8 inches apart, and it looked more like 5 inches apart. But I don't know. I mean, I was expecting Turner to just completely tower over him. We got Bob Lee. What is up? What is up, Voodoo? How you doing? I love the shows with all the locks. There are no locks. I won't be surprised if some of these dogs bark. Yeah, nothing's a lock ever, especially on this card. We got Jason in the chat as well. I say we get into it, guys, and let us start with the very first fight of the night. We have Jessica Rose Clark going against Julija Stoliarenko. We have Jessica Rose Clark minus 150, Julija Stoliarenko plus 130, and I officially retired from betting fights like these. They always seem to burn me, and I think Jessica Rose Clark should absolutely win this fight. Stoliarenko, a grappler, BJJ black belt, I believe, finishing all but one of her wins by armbar. And Rose Clark, in theory, should just stuff the takedowns, keep it on the feet, and outstrike Stoliarenko en route to a decision. But we know that's not how it's going to play out. You know, Rose Clark is probably going to take down Stoliarenko. Stoliarenko is probably going to pull guard, and Jessica Rose Clark is probably going to be on top at points of this fight, which is going to be terrifying, holding a Jessica Rose Clark ticket. But you know, she should win this fight. On the feet, Rose Clark's the better striker. Stoliarenko, a 44% striking defense. On top of that, you know, Rose Clark, and honestly, she probably could take down Stoliarenko. Not ideal because Stoliarenko, that's her path to victory, that armbar. But she could take her down, do kind of the Alexis Davis game plan, and just lay on her for 15 minutes as well. I feel like Rose Clark has more paths to victory here, whereas Stoliarenko's kind of submission or bust. So yeah, Rose Clark's the pick, but I just refuse to bet on fights like these anymore. I even saw Rose Clark last week at like minus 108, and even then I wasn't like running to the window, and now she's like minus 150, and I'm just not touching it. If you like Rose Clark by decision plus 125 is probably the way to go. If you like Stoliarenko by submission plus 350 is probably the way to go, but I'm just going to be staying away from this first fight of the night. I only have 4 bets on this card, and this is definitely not one fight that I have a bet on. As far as a DK standpoint goes, I don't hate either side. Both sides are going to be very low owned. Rose Clark should put on a clinic on the feet. And then on top of that, she could mix in takedowns, get control time. And if you like Stoliarenko 7,600, if she does win, it is probably submission. So, yeah, not a fight I'm overly looking forward to, but the pick's Rose Clark, and we will see what happens. You're not watching the weigh-ins? Yeah, I caught the first all the way up to Sean O'Malley. I have to go watch the last couple there. We got orange bag fight, absolutely. Just can't see myself betting on this fight. We got Mushroom saying violence. Yeah, we'll talk about some violence for sure. Stoli has not won a fight out of the first minute or so. Clark by decision. Yeah, I think Clark by decision is the best look here, but I can't bet on this fight. Fight goes decision is around like minus 200 something. Yeah, I think it goes to decision, but again, I can't put any money on this fight. We got Eric saying, "What's up, everyone? I hope all is well. Big Brady, Big Dog Brady on the grind as always. Appreciate you, my man. Good luck, everyone. Good luck to you as well. Eric, should be a very fun card. There is a lot of possibilities in DFS unity for the first fight in your lineup. Yeah, I don't think it's a must for sure, but it'll be low owned, and I could see it scoring decent. Distance only Clark, decision only Clark. Yeah, that was a spot I was kind of eyeing before the odds came out, and then DraftKings opened it up at minus 250. So can't really do much with that. But we'll move on to the next fight. A little out of order here, but we'll go with it. We have Dricus du Plessis going against Brad Tavares. We have Dricus is now minus 150, Brad Tavares plus 130. Lots of line movement on Dricus. I believe he's a dog last week. Now he's a minus 150 favorite. I do have a bet on this fight. The bet that I do have is the fight doesn't go to decision. I got it earlier in the week at plus 105. This was a no-brainer bet for me. This was a bet that I would take all day. Based off the fact that we have Dricus du Plessis in 18 professional fights, who's never seen the scorecards, win or loss, 18 professional fights, 100% finish rate, and he has been finished by knockout and submission in both of his losses. So you're getting a killer be killed fighter at plus money there. That was a bet that I would be taking all day. Put 1 unit on that. The line has moved since then. It is a popular play in, and rightfully so. It's kind of common sense. Dricus du Plessis, never been to decision, win or loss, killer be killed fighter. The fight doesn't go is probably the move, and I still think there's some solid value on it, especially considering we have Dricus du Plessis minus 150. At that point, I'd probably take that minus 145. Fight doesn't go to decision instead of that Dricus money line. Dricus inside the distance earlier in the week was plus 170. It is now plus 125. But yeah, I think Dricus does finish Brad Tavares here. But I don't want to completely rule out a Brad Tavares late finish here. Again, Dricus has been finished in both his losses, both in the third round. Brad Tavares, although a decisionator, does have a couple knockouts in the UFC. But I do think if there is a finish in this fight, it is most likely going to be the Dricus side, and it is most likely going to be Dricus by knockout. So first bet of the night for me, 1 unit. Fight doesn't get the decision, plus 105. And I still do not mind it at the current price tag, around minus 135 I see out there as well. Minus 130, I think violence is the answer here in a fighter with a killer be killed style like Dricus du Plessis. From a DraftKings perspective, Dricus is going to be very popular, and rightfully so. He's 8,000. He's priced as the underdog on DraftKings, and he's a minus 150 favorite. I mean, I feel like the 8,000, 8,200 matchup should probably be the Lawler Barberena fight a little bit later, but no, it's this fight, and Dricus is priced as the dog on DraftKings. So I like Dricus on DraftKings quite a bit. A lot of people will, and rightfully so. Finish upside, 100% finish rate, and he is now a big, like, minus 150 favorite as a dog on DraftKings, so I like it a lot. Strickland looks small. I have to take a look. I mean, but yeah, Pereira is huge, though. Pereira is huge. Mushroom saying fight doesn't go decision under 2.5 violence. Yeah, I think violence is definitely the look here with a guy in Dricus du Plessis. How much Dricus are you playing on DK? Quite a bit. I think he's definitely my top 4 in terms of ownership. Going to have a decent amount of them, but Sean's all off the Dricus plane. Yeah, he's definitely going to be chalk, that's for sure. But if you fade him, if he craps the bed, then it's huge for you. But it's hard to fade Dricus, man. Plus 105 is huge, great grab. Yeah, plus money. It was a no-brainer bet for me. Pereira is my lock of the week. Strickland won't be able to land the takedowns. Yeah. Can't wait to talk about that fight. I think it all comes down to the game plan of Strickland. Is he going to strike with Pereira, test the striking, or is he going to try to implement those takedowns? We'll have to see. And then Lawler saying Hall by KO. Best favorite prop on the card. We'll talk about it in a couple fights. My favorite prop on the card, on a card where not a lot sticks out. It'll be on the prelims a little bit later. Not sure why Dricus was the underdog most of the week. Yeah, I don't know. Especially like last week, he's a pretty decent sized dog. What did Tavares open up as? Tavares opened up like minus 130. So you could have got du Plessis like plus 110 last week, plus 100 like earlier in the week, and now yeah, he's minus 150. More money just keeps coming in on him. All right. Brandon has Hall by decision, plus 1,000. Yeah, I mean, I could see that fight going the distance. When Strickland was talking with Izzy, he seemed nervous at the press conference. I think that's just his personality, man. I don't know. Strickland's a weird dude. But we'll have to see. All right, we'll move on to the next fight. We have Maycee Barber going against Jessica Eye. And yeah, another fight that, when are we going to learn? When are we going to learn? We have a women's MMA fight. We have a big favorite. The fight is probably going to decision. The fight is probably going to be competitive. How can anybody be comfortable laying chalk here on Maycee Barber? Like minus 300 just makes no sense. I mean, if you absolutely have to play Maycee Barber, I guess by decision, minus 115. And I'm definitely picking Barber, but how can you trust these judges? These judges have just crapped the bed as of late. Like, are they favoring damage? Are they favoring control? Some fights they favor control. Some fights they favor damage. Are they even watching the fights at this point? Like, it's been bad. So, I mean, it's just hard to trust a minus 300 favorite in a fight that should play out competitive. So, yeah, it's a clear pass for me. There was no way I would ever bet Maycee Barber here at minus 300. If anything, if I'm betting this fight, if I was to bet the fight, it would be that fight goes to decision as a parlay piece minus 250. Jessica Eye only knocked out once. That one knockout loss comes against Valentina Shevchenko. We know Maycee Barber is extremely tough. I think that line should probably be wider for the fight goes, but yeah, nothing's sticking out. If you like Maycee Barber by decision minus 115 is much better than laying minus 300. And if you like Jessica Eye, I think I saw DraftKings had like the Eye by decision at plus 400. Which I guess could be worth a look, but yeah, I'm not betting on this fight. The pick's Barber. Barber's a huge fade for me on DraftKings. I mean, there's no point in playing Barber at 9,100 when you have Volkanovski up there, even like Adesanya up there. Although I'm not even high on Adesanya this week, you can go down and get like Jim Miller, Andra Muniz, guys like that. Just an easy fade there from Maycee Barber. And then Jessica Eye, I just don't really see much merit in playing her as well. So a fade fight for me from a betting perspective. A fade fight for me for a DraftKings perspective. But if anything, it would be that the fight goes to decision minus 250 as a parlay piece. Pereira TKO is lower odds than Strickland by decision. Yeah, they're all over that Pereira KO this week, that's for sure. Barber by boredom, Barber decision. Hey, makes sense to me, Mushroom. O'Malley is a lock. Nothing is a lock in MMA. It doesn't matter. Close your eyes and bet the women's dog. If you've done that the last couple weeks, you are rich. You are rich. And then fight goes to disappointment. Absolutely. I'm not looking forward to the Barber Eye fight, but hey, maybe it could be fun. Alex isn't anywhere near the MMA fighter Strickland is. He has the size edge and more KO power on the feet, and that's it. Absolutely, Sean. That's why I'm curious to see what Sean Strickland's game plan is going to be. Is he going to make it an MMA fight, or is he going to just go out there and strike with Pereira for 15 minutes? We'll have to see. Maycee, a Ghostbuster Barber kicks from out of, yeah, I mean, that Grasso fight, I can never get out of my head. That was bad. I mean, I'm not laying minus 300 on Barber. The judges are with Vegas. Yeah, it seems like it. The judges have been crapping the bed as of late, but you won't see me laying minus 300 on no Maycee Barber this week. All right, let's move on to the next fight. We have Andra Muniz going against Uriah Hall. Andra Muniz minus 320, Uriah Hall plus 270. The fight doesn't go to decision minus 400. On FanDuel, it's minus 650. And yeah, definitely some wide odds there. I was taking a nap on Monday, and I woke up and I saw that Bet Online and 5 Dimes opened up the under 2.5 at like minus 140. And it was there for a good hour. And it got all the way to like minus 170, under 2.5. And then I went to take a look at it, and then it was gone. They pulled it off. So napped right through that one. And then now the under 2.5 is like minus 350. So, I mean, yeah, there's nothing that I'd bet on this fight. I mean, Muniz minus 320. It's too wide. Muniz inside the distance, minus 185. It's too wide. If you absolutely like Muniz, though, which a lot of people do, and I think he wins, I did find a sneaky prop on FanDuel. It is Muniz to win by submission in either round 1 or round 2 at plus 120. I think that would be the way I would play that. If anything, if you like Uriah Hall by knockout would be the way to go. Plus 375, plus 400. Andra Muniz has been knocked out in all 4 of his losses. Uriah Hall has finished all of his wins in the UFC but 2. And one of the decisions I thought were pretty questionable that I think it was the Carlos Jr. decision. I thought they really could have went either way. But yeah, if you like Muniz, that Muniz submission round 1 or 2 plus 120. If you like Uriah Hall by knockout plus 400. I do not have a bet on this fight. I don't even think the fight doesn't go to decisions parlayable because a decision would not shock me. Uriah Hall has never been submitted, but that can definitely change here. Andra Muniz is a wizard on the mat, and if he does get the fight down to the mat, Uriah Hall is going to be in big trouble early on. And I think Andra Muniz submission round 1 is the most likely outcome, but the bookies are all over that because Andra Muniz in round 1 is like plus 150. Andra Muniz by round 1 subs like plus 170. So there's just no value on that. So the pick's Andra Muniz. The pick is Andra Muniz by submission in the first round. Just nothing playable in this from a betting perspective, in my opinion. Or besides that, Muniz round 1 or round 2 sub plus 120. That's a solid look. From a DraftKings perspective, yeah, I like both sides here, especially the Muniz side. I think Muniz wins 9,200 takedown upside, early submission upside. If he does get that win, I think it's probably in the first round. So yeah, you got to love some Muniz. And then as far as Uriah Hall, if this fight does get extended, if this fight plays out on the feet for long periods of time, I think the knockout is absolutely on the table. So yeah, don't mind Uriah Hall as a pump player. So playing both sides of it on DraftKings, I do have more Andra Muniz, and I think Muniz first round sub is the most likely situation. You guys are saying in the chat, Mushroom saying Muniz inside the distance, fight doesn't go under 2.5. Yeah, I think violence is the most likely scenario here, Mushroom, but I mean they're all over it. Just can't lay minus 350 on the under, and can't lay minus 400 on the fight doesn't go. Can't even parlay it on Bet Online. Like if you want to parlay it, you have to go to FanDuel, which is minus 650. I don't know. Hall will survive the submission attempts. He hasn't been subbed in 28 fights. That is true. But Jacare Souza had also not been subbed, so I'm definitely not counting out the ability of Andra Muniz. While the crowd was silent for Izzy at the face-off, yeah, not a lot of people like Izzy, it seems. I don't know what it is. Yeah, that's a good one, Brady F. I think that one stuck out to me. We got Bailey in the chat. What is up, Bailey? Muniz is good for DFS, possible within a minute, a sub bonus. Oh, my goodness. I mean, maybe if he gets it down early on. I don't know if he's that good, like a minute sub. That'd be impressive. Does Ian Garry get it done? We'll talk about that one soon. I don't have a ton of confidence in the guy, but I know some people that do. Muniz via sub, I think that is the most likely scenario, but you're laying minus 125 on it. Unbettable for me. Hall going to KO his ass. Hey, Muniz has been knocked out 4 times. Absolutely, Mushroom. It is definitely going to be worth watching. This fight's going to be good. This starts the stretch of fights where it's like, okay, every fight from here on is going to be really good. Muniz is going to come forward, pressuring with strikes, initiate the clinch, work to the takedown, fight over. Can't argue that, Paul. I think that's the most likely scenario. The sugar show is about to end. Oh, maybe. Embrace the DFS chaos. Absolutely. I parlayed Muniz with O'Malley and Izzy, and I think that one hits. Hall is so gun shy, though. Yeah, he is. Sugar Sean inside the distance or decision. We'll talk about that one soon. Leaning decision. We got Cole in the chat. What is up, Cole? How you doing? 55 of you in here. If you all can please hit the like button. Let's try to get those likes up. We have a big card this week for UFC 276. We're about to break down the next fight. We have Jim Miller going against Donald Cerrone. Jim Miller minus 180, Donald Cerrone plus 150. Fight doesn't go minus 200, and this is a very frustrating fight for me because, man, I had... So the Lozon Cerrone, the first time it was booked, I got the fight doesn't go to decision at like some insane price, like the week prior. I got like minus 130, minus 140. The second time comes around, I get the fight doesn't go like minus 180. I'm heavy on that. And then this fight comes around, and I have to lay a worse price on this fight doesn't go to decision than I did on the Lozon fight. And it just makes no sense to me. I mean, with Joe Lozon is the definition of a kill or be killed fighter, the definition of a first rounder bust fighter, especially at this point of his career. Joe Lozon was going to either go out there and starch Cerrone in the first round, or he would kind of just topple over in that second. And that's not the case with Jim Miller. Although Jim Miller, when he does win inside the distance, it typically is in the first round. We saw that he could win in the second round, and when he does lose, he's not getting finished that often. Jim Miller's only been knocked out twice. And how many, he's been knocked out twice in 50 fights. So I just have a very, very bad feeling about this fight. I think Miller should go out here and knock out Donald Cerrone, but I'm just not confident in that. And just laying minus 200 on the fight doesn't go. I don't know. I was way more confident in the fight doesn't go in the Lozon fight. Way more confident. Like Lozon had a 94% finish rate. Lozon has been finished a ton. Jim Miller, I don't think he's washed. I think he's shown that he still has a lot left in the tank. He said he wants to fight at UFC 300, whereas Lozon, the dude, was on his way out. I know he beat Jonathan Pierce in a weird fight, but he hadn't fought in like 2.5 years, and I can't lay minus 200 on the fight. Doesn't go. The one prop I was looking at was Jim Miller in the first round, but I mean, they're all over it. You can't even bet it. I mean, Jim Miller in the first round is like plus 270, which is a shame because Joe Lozon in the first round was like plus 650. And even when the first fight was booked for the Lozon Cerrone fight, Lozon first round knockout opened up on FanDuel at plus 1,500, and it's only like plus 500 for Jim Miller here. So they're all over it. I think Miller should go out here and starch Donald Cerrone. But I don't know. It's a weird fight because you take a look at the fight stylistically, and there's a lot of people on Donald Cerrone, and I don't completely blame him because you look at the fight stylistically, and it's a terrible matchup for Jim Miller. Like if this fight was a couple of years ago, I'd be max betting Donald Cerrone at plus 150, like max betting him. First of all, Cerrone already beat Miller. Second of all, it's a terrible matchup because Cerrone 90% takedown defense, Cerrone very underrated grappler, and Cerrone the much better striker. The reason we're getting a line like this on Jim Miller at minus 180 is because Donald Cerrone looks completely done. And Jim Miller showed that he's not done yet. So the pick's Miller by knockout, but not going to be betting on this fight. I have a really bad feeling about this fight as well, and it's going to be staying away. From a DraftKings perspective, I think both sides are in play. Jim Miller, 8,700, I think he has that first round upside. Donald Cerrone, 7,500. If he wins, I kind of think it's by decision, which is plus 3 or plus 535. Again, Jim Miller, very, very tough. Only been knocked out twice in 50 fights. And I feel like if Donald Cerrone does survive that first round, he probably takes over those last two. So, I don't know. Weird fight. Give me Miller for the first round finish, but not a ton of confidence in it. And I really wish that Lozon fight would have happened. And I really wish I would have cashed my fight doesn't get the decision, but I will not have violence in this fight. Anyone look concerning on the scales today? And the answer to that is no. Unless you guys caught anything. I thought Jalin Turner, who cuts a ton of weight, he's got a 6'3", 155. I thought Jalin Turner looked good. Robbie Lawler was the last one to weigh in. I thought Robbie Lawler looked fine. Julija Stoliarenko's a fighter that typically has trouble with the scales. She looked fine. Trying to think of anything else. Max Holloway is a guy that looks like he's dying when he weighs in every time. He actually looked fine. Adesanya looked good. Cannonier looked good. Volkanovski looked good. I thought everybody looked fine. I mean, unless you guys saw something I didn't, I'll have to go back and watch, but everybody looked good to me. Hall may pull an upset. Hey, it wouldn't shock me. What's up, Glenn? Thanks for tuning in after those weigh-ins. Yeah, I was watching them a little bit before we got started here. Cerrone is going to shave the ass at Jim Miller. I have Cerrone inside the distance, one last ride. Kind of would shock me, but I don't know. I mean, it's a good matchup for Cerrone. I just think he's kind of done, but yeah, we'll see, man. Definitely we'll see. I would not touch this fight for bets or DFS. Seems trappy. This seems like one of the biggest trap spots on the card. There's a couple of them on this card. It's a sketchy card from a betting perspective. It really is. I mean, the card's amazing, but there's a reason I only have 4 bets on this card. I'm keeping it light because I'm not betting on Jim Miller, Donald Cerrone. I'm not betting on Jessica Rose Clark, Julija Stoliarenko. I'm not laying minus 300 on Maycee Barber. I'm not betting Robbie Lawler, Bryan Barberena. I'm not betting Strickland, Pereira. Just a lot of tough fights on this card. Miller doesn't have power like Cerrone's last 6 opponents. I will argue that he does have more power than Alex Morono, but yeah, I definitely agree. He doesn't have more power than guys like Ferguson, guys like McGregor, guys like that. But the Morono one was kind of sketchy. Really weird fight. Scary weird. Miller's fire runs deeper. Yeah, I think Miller has a little bit more in the tank. Line is wide, but Cerrone gets finished by stiff breeze lately. Yeah, that's why the line's right where it's at. I have extreme confidence in Miller by KO in round 1. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm leaning as well, but I do not have the same extreme confidence as you. Size could be a factor here in this fight. Could be harder to find the chin of Cerrone. Yes, Cerrone will be bigger. This is at 170. Green will be in the optimal lineup in DFS. Maybe, if he wins. He's very cheap this week. Holloway seems the most confident out of all fighters. Holloway is always confident. Thinking Gary's star is about to be extinguished tonight. I think he's overhyped. I think he's really good. I don't see a lot of hype on the guy though. I think he's trying to build the hype and stuff. I just don't see many people really hyping this guy up. To be honest, I only see people crapping on him. But I don't know. Maybe I'm missing it, but I don't see a lot of hype on this guy yet. How is the Garry versus Green fight? Doesn't go decision now. Plus 100. Now I love it. Oh, did money come in on the fight goes? I don't know. Hey Brady, thoughts on the Jourdain versus Burgos? Is that fight next week? I'm gonna be looking into next week's card tomorrow morning. I'm gonna try to get at least through like halfway tomorrow morning, but I think it is Burgos who's a decent sized favorite. I'll double check here. I think I saw Burgos as a decent sized favorite. Is that next week? No, I don't know when that is. I think it might be the week after. Yeah, Burgos is minus 205 and Jourdain is plus 175. I don't know. I think they're just going to stand and strike there. Probably Burgos, but I'm not laying minus 2.5 on him. Garry hype, exactly. Like he's trying to hype himself. I don't see nobody else hyping this guy. I will be putting out a Garry tweet tomorrow morning though, for fight day. There was a video of him dancing, and I'm gonna be putting that out there tomorrow. I really like that. Game Green feels like the underdog of the trap of the week. Not really. I don't see many people on Gabe Green. In terms of like people on YouTube and stuff. I don't know, maybe. Underdog trap of the week probably seems like, let's see, who's the underdog trap of the week? I don't know. Maybe it is Green. I don't really see many trap dogs there, Sean. 1 unit on O'Malley by decision, plus 160. Quarter unit on Pedro by KO, plus 750. Love it. Definitely talk about that fight. Maybe overconfident might have been a better... Yeah, definitely. I agree with that one. Overconfident. The dude's definitely overconfident. UFC Long Island. There you go. Yeah, that card is going to be good. That card. I didn't know Long Island was this close away. I was going to try to get to that one, but there's no way I'll be able to go in 2 weeks. I thought it was like next month. Pereira, the trap of the week. Pereira is the slight favorite on DK. I don't know. I see a ton of people on Strickland. All right, we'll move on to the next fight. We have Ian Garry going against Gabe Green, and yeah, I don't know. I feel like Ian Garry's the better overall skilled fighter, but the thing with Gabe Green is this guy is the definition of a dog. He will definitely fight for your money. He's going to come forward. He's going to pressure, and I just really hated what I saw in that Jordan Williams fight. Like I had a big bet on Ian Garry against Jordan Williams. I was almost ripping up my freaking ticket towards the end of that first round. Like Jordan Williams, of all people, was piecing this dude up, hurting him bad. He was busting him up like he was bloody. And I thought if this fight kept going on, it was not a good look. And then luckily, Gary's able to finish him. I was able to cash my bet. I was like, oh my gosh. I laid like minus like, I don't know, like 260, 270, like something crazy on this guy. And I feel like Gabe Green, kind of like Jordan Williams, is going to be doing a lot of pressuring. He's going to be throwing a ton of strikes. I think both guys are very hittable. I don't like the strike and defense of Garry, and I don't like the strike and defense of Gabe Green. I don't know. I feel like it's going to be competitive. I feel like this is going to be a competitive fight. Like I said, skill for skill. Ian Garry's the more skilled fighter, but you can't count a dog like Gabe Green. I just don't have a ton of confidence in it. I'm going to pick Green for the upset here, and I'll pick him to win by knockout. But, Gary's never been knocked out. Green by knockouts plus 450, and not touching anything from a betting perspective here. I know Brandon's on that fight doesn't go to decision. It's like plus 100 now, you said, Brandon. I don't hate it. I mean, both guys are good finishers. Gabe Green, a 91% finish rate. His only decision win was against Phil Rowe, where he very well could have finished that fight. And Garry, 67% finish rate. I feel like they're going to throw down. I feel like it's probably going to be a war. like most green fights are. So yeah, if it's plus money, I mean, I don't hate that. Not going to bet it personally, but especially at plus 100, I think I'd rather be on that plus 100 fight doesn't go than laying chalk on that fight goes. Yeah, I see it right there. Caesars, which I don't have Caesars, but yeah, Caesars plus 100 fight doesn't go. I don't know. Give me green for the upset. Just not a ton of confidence. And I think he's a really good fighter. I know people don't like the guy, but we'll see what happens here. Mushroom on that green inside the distance. Fight doesn't go to decision in the under 2.5. Royd, Rage, Izzy Fade, low cardio past round 2 possible now that he's packing on a lot of muscle. Yeah. I don't think Izzy's gonna have bad cardio. Gabe Green by body shot death. I don't know about that. Both guys very shitty striking defense. The pace of the fight, William fight doesn't go. Green is a walking punching bag. So is Garry. Yeah, I agree. They're both walking punching bags, both there to be hit. And Green is going to push that pace. Yeah, I don't hate it. Gabe Green pressures, but then gets too reckless. Garry going to sleep him. Yeah, Green's definitely the more reckless of the two. I have under 2.5 at plus 105. I'm strongly considering doubling down with the fight doesn't go. Do you like Garry on DK if he wins? Kinda. I mean, I think he's a good leverage play because he's going to be pretty low owned. I like other guys around him. I like, Jalin Turner more. I'd rather go and get like Andra Menis, Volkanovski, guys like that. But I think he can score decent. I think the winner of this fight does score pretty decent. Yeah, I saw that plus 100 on Caesars. Plus 8,000 on JRC Nipsla. I don't know about that. Maybe. Plus 8,000 could be worth a poke there. Spencer, you need to pick someone low cost. He's probably the most picked fighter in DFS. You think? No, I don't think many people are going to be on Ian Garry and DFS with other really good plays up there. But we'll see. We have the next fight. We have Jalin Turner going against Barberena, the last fight on the prelims, and I do have a bet on this fight. And the bet I do have is the fight doesn't go to decision. Got it earlier in the week. Bet online minus 150, 1.5 units on that. This is a very popular play this week, and rightfully so. Just like Dricus to Plessis, we have another kill or be killed fighter in Jalin Turner. Jalin Turner, a 100% finish rate in his wins, and he has been finished in 3 of his 5 losses, 3 of them coming by knockout. Yeah, I think both guys are live to finish here. I think both guys are live to get finished. Brad Riddell, no finishes yet in the UFC, but he has hurt multiple of his opponents. Hurt Jamie Malarkey multiple times. Has a knockdown in the UFC as well. Jalin Turner, again, knocked out 3 times. Jalin Turner sports a 44% striking defense, which is horrendous. That is the same striking defense as one Julija Stoliarenko. So, yeah, I mean, I don't want to completely roll out a Brad Riddell knockout here, but I think if there is a finish, it is more likely on that Turner side. Turner going to be much bigger. I thought it was going to be much, much bigger, but taking a look at the weigh-ins, he's not 8 inches bigger. I think he was supposed to be like 8 inches taller. Jalin Turner, 6'3", Brad Riddell, 5'7". It looks more like Jalin Turner, 6'3" or 6'2", Brad Riddell, like 5'10". He was not 8 inches taller, that's for sure. It was a lot closer than I kind of expected. But regardless, Jalin Turner, very dangerous anywhere the fight goes. Tons of power, submission threat as well. I think they're going to go to war. I think someone's going down. Give me that fight doesn't go. 1.5 units, minus 150. I'd still play it at minus 190. BetOnline still has that minus 190 out there, which is the best price by a mile. Again, this is a very popular play this week, and rightfully so. Looks like it just moves. Minus 205, and then minus 205 on FanDuel as well. But, yeah, I like the fight doesn't go. Turner inside the distance was like plus 170 earlier in the week. That's only plus 135. I think I would just take the fight doesn't go, cover both sides there from a DraftKings perspective. I like me some Jalin Turner. I think he's going to finish Brad Riddell. And Brad Riddell's an underdog. I mean, this fight is probably one that you want to target, especially at these prices. They're going to throw down, and I think somebody does get finished here more often than not. But yeah, pick is Jalin Turner, and Jalin Turner inside the distance. Ian Garry won't be high owned at all. Yeah, I don't really think so. Turner inside the distance, fight doesn't go to decision, and violence. I like it. I like all of it. Sorry, I was referring to Green. Okay. Yeah, I think Green's going to be a decent sized, decent owned dog for sure. Duplessis, Izzy, and Volk are clearly the three highest owned, especially Duplessis and Volk there. Turner fights like he is double parked out front. Absolutely, he does. I've Turner by sub and through the fight to end in KO on FanDuel at -115. Yeah, if there's a sub, it's going to be Turner. Absolutely. My Hail Mary parlay, Tavares, Duplessis fight doesn't go. Turner fight doesn't go. Muniz by KO or sub. Jim Miller straight. Garry Green fight doesn't go. And Volk straight. Best of luck, Voodoo. Those are going to be some solid odds there. Paul saying I have to overrule Wheezy and make Turner my ass shaving of the week. Usually I can guess what Uncle Wheezy's ass shaving is going to be. And I really thought it was going to be Turner. I thought Turner was going to be his ass shaving of the week, but Uncle Wheezy actually went with somebody else for his ass shaving one. We'll talk about that fight soon. But yeah, I think Turner definitely can shave some ass here. Pedro inside the distance. Maybe. Riddell sneaking on DK if he wins. Don't remember the ownership off my head, but I think it'll be somewhat sneaky. I think Turner's going to be very high owned. Oi, what is up, Zach? How you doing? Good luck to you as well. Let us keep moving on to the main card. Before we do so, let's get those likes up. 72 of you in here hanging out with me on a Friday. And we have a couple more fights to break down. So we have Robbie Lawler going against Bryan Barberena. And this is my 1-800-GAMBLER fight of the week. We have Robbie Lawler, who is 40 years old, taking a ton of damage throughout his career, has not looked the same the last couple of years, honestly. Bryan Barberena, 33 years old, 7 years younger, but still, he himself has taken a lot of damage. He's had a ton of surgeries as well. Just not the same Bryan Barberena since that Luque fight. I can't bet this fight. I really can't bet this fight. I mean, I like Barbarena to win, but then you go take a look at Barbarena, like what's he been doing his last couple of years? Not finishing Anthony Ivy. Like what? You couldn't finish Anthony Ivy. Not finishing Jason Witt. On top of that, losing to Jason Witt, getting knocked down by Jason Witt, getting knocked out by Randy Brown, not finishing Darian Weeks. Competitive fight against Matt Brown as well. I mean, just have not been impressed with Bryan Barberena. Robbie Lawler goes out there and gets the win against Nick Diaz, but Nick Diaz had not fought since like 2015 prior to that, and Nick Diaz goes out there and lands 150 strikes on this guy in the first 2 rounds. I don't know. But what I do know is they are going to go out there and they are going to stand and bang, and it's going to be a very fun fight. But as far as like betting on this fight or picking a winner, like I don't know how anybody can be confident in this fight. I don't know. But give me Barbarena to win. He's younger. I like his volume more. But let's be real. They're just going to stand in the middle and bang. There's going to be no regards for any striking defense. It's going to be probably fight of the night, honestly. And I don't know whether it finishes or goes the distance, because although it's going to be at war, Robbie Lawler, very good chin. Robbie Lawler only been knocked out 3 times in 44 fights. Bryan Barberena, same thing. Although he got knocked down by Jason Witt, his chin's still very good. I don't know. Give me Barbarena. I'm going to sit back and watch this one. I can't bet this fight. But Barbarena will be the pick on DK. I think Barbarena at 7,700 is kind of a steal. Like this fight, like I said earlier, should be the 8,200 matchup. Robbie Lawler, 8,500. I think it should be much closer than that. Voodoo saying Cerrone getting his ass, head, legs, and his balls. I don't know about that. It could happen. Jim Miller can definitely get him in the first round. Barbarena, anyone for the knockout? I don't know. I mean, he didn't knock out Anthony Ivy. He didn't knock out Jason Witt. Is he going to knock out Robbie Lawler? I don't know. Barbarena, 3rd round decision. I hope he is the least washed of the two. I think he is. But yeah, and it's crazy to call Barbarena washed at 33, but it certainly looks like it. We got Ben Stuff with the dono saying, love the chat, guys. Great comments. Smash a like. Appreciate you, Ben Stuff, for the donation there. And I agree. Smash the like button. Thank you again, Ben Stuff, for the donation. Does mean a ton and helps out here a lot at the MMA Engine. Robbie is going to beat Bryan easily. I don't know. I don't think anything about this fight should have the word easy, or I don't know. I don't feel like anybody should be confident. It's gonna be a close fight. And if it does go to decision, like you got to trust the judges to get it right. It's just a mess, man. But it should be fun. I should have taken my Muniz by sub or points instead of the TKO or sub. Muniz wins, and it is a It is my sub. It will be grinding a decision. Yeah, I would take the sub decision over the sub TKO personally. Well, then call 1-800-GAMBLER me because I have lots of money on Lawler versus Barberena, hedge and everything. Gonna step space. What do you got in this fight? What are you liking? What are you liking? And I might have to call the 1-800-GAMBLER on if you bet a lot on this fight, man. I don't know. Lawler movement versus Nick had me sure he would win. Barbarena looked great at the weigh-ins against Matt Brown. He looked fat and sloppy. Yeah, that whole fight was really sloppy, right? As my Canadians pals say, this is a pop and popcorn fight. Yeah, definitely. Let's go violence fight NKO plus 175. There you go. That's a decent line. Much you ready for the Lambo plays later? I'm ready for the Lambo plays. I'll be on that show with Lou Betcha at 10, I believe. Narco. Lawler has alternated wins and losses in the last 7 years, and he's coming off a win over Fat Diaz. Yeah, I think he loses, but I'm just not confident in it. No way Nick landed 100 plus strikes. Robbie parried and swayed his head. I mean, go watch the fight, man. I mean, he landed a lot. He landed a ton against Robbie Lawler. Like Robbie Lawler just did not decide to have any striking defense in that fight. I think Barbarena has the youth and strength of schedule, but Lawler is a savage, absolutely. 2 straight wins, and he's washed. Come on. Against who, though? Against Matt Brown, which was a very close fight, and against Darian Weeks, which was a very close fight. What's more concerning to me is that freaking loss to Jason Witt. I mean, you should not be losing to Jason Witt if you're Bryan Barberena. A gust of wind knocks out Jason Witt, and it was Jason Witt that knocked down Barberena. Lawler hasn't scored a stoppage victory in over 7 years. My favorite bets are Muniz, Pereira, and JRC. I will have no bets on either of those fights, but I wish you luck. And Brandon saying violence there. Let us move on to the next fight. We have Sean O'Malley going against Pedro Munhoz. And yeah, I don't have a bet on this fight, but I guess the one thing that sticks out a very popular play is going to be that Sean O'Malley decision, which opened up on FanDuel at plus 200. Sean O'Malley by decision currently is like plus 150, plus 175. The over 2.5, over 1.5 fight goes, all very popular plays, and I definitely get why. Pedro Munhoz, a very, very tough guy to finish. Never been knocked out in how many fights? Like 26 fights. 26 fights, never been knocked out. Legendary chin. I think the fight goes. I think Sean O'Malley by decision all does make sense. I did not pull the trigger myself. I mean, going and watching the tape, I mean, I kind of got scared away a little bit for a couple reasons. The first reason is on the Sean O'Malley side, I do question the durability. He's been hurt multiple fights. In that Sukumtov fight, got hurt, and then got hurt in the Marlon Vera fight as well. And he's been knocked out in his only loss. And then on the Munhoz side, although he has a legendary chin, he does eat punches with his face. And I was like cringing at, this guy eats a ton of shots. Just no regards for any striking defense. Munhoz absorbs over 6 significant strikes per minute, and O'Malley lands over 8 significant strikes per minute. I think O'Malley puts on an absolute clinic against Munhoz here on the feet. I think he's going to land a ton. I think everything Sean throws is probably going to land, and it's going to be sketchy. It's going to be scary for those overs, for those fight goes. I think it does go over, but you're going to be sweating because these guys are going to throw down. These guys, you saw at the weigh-ins, they do not like each other. They're in each other's face. Sean O'Malley is going to be looking for that knockout. Munhoz is going to be looking to kill Sean O'Malley. Should be a fun fight. Should be a very exciting fight. I lean Sean O'Malley decision. I lean to the fight goes to decision, but it is going to be sweaty. So yeah, no bet for me. Sean O'Malley's the pick. Sean O'Malley by decision. I think Munhoz scorecards equals no action is a solid look at plus 225. He's going to try to take O'Malley's head off and his legs off. And again, I question the durability of O'Malley. And this is a step up in competition. O'Malley minus 300. I mean, take a look at who O'Malley has beaten in the UFC, and it's kind of concerning. I mean, you take a look at O'Malley. He beats Andrei Sukumtov, who I think he's cut. He beat Joseph Canones, who I know for I'm pretty certain he's cut. He beat Eddie Wineland, who retired. He beat Thomas Almeida, who I think is cut. He beat Chris Motina, who I know for a fact is cut. And then he beat Rolian Paiva, who that's his best win in the UFC. And I'm not high on Rolian Paiva, so those are his wins. I mean, Sukumtov, Quinones, Wineland, Almeida, Moutinho, and Paiva. and I'm pretty sure like only one of them are still in the UFC, and that's Paiva. And then his only loss was that step up against Marlon Vera, and he got finished in the first round. So that's a concern. But you take a look at this fight stylistically, Sean O'Malley should put on an absolute clinic here, but the durability scares me. Munhoz, he's 35. He's hittable. He has a good chin. He's not going to go in there just lay down. I like O'Malley to win, but yeah, minus 300, I can't get there. From a DraftKings perspective, O'Malley 9,300. I actually don't hate it. I don't think he's going to go for takedowns. I don't think a finish is overly likely, but I think he's going to land so many significant strikes against Pedro Munhoz. I mean, Pedro Munhoz has no striking defense at all. So I don't mind O'Malley 9,300. And then Munhoz, as far as a pump play, if he does win, it is probably inside the distance. So give me Sugar Sean. Give me Sugar Sean. But yeah, don't give me a minus 300. No way. I think we are counting out Munhoz a little bit too much here, but O'Malley should get it done. Brandon has the O'Malley round 3 plus 1,200 free play of $15. Just a small little play here. I can see O'Malley jabbing for 2 rounds and getting at the late stoppage. Yeah, I mean, he's gonna hit Munhoz so much, man. He's gonna hit him so much. Ben saying Pedro stands like a deer in headlights. He's gonna see star. I mean, yeah, I was cringing like, oh, this dude's striking defense is not there. Liking O'Malley, but those peanut brittle legs have me worried, and that's why I'm not touching that O'Malley decision. That the durability concerns me. O'Malley definitely on the money line decision, and then the Robbie money line, and then you're on the Max and Volk decision. Izzy Jared to decision. Munhoz gonna chop them legs up. Hopefully he survives. That's gonna be the game plan for Munhoz. If Munhoz can pressure, I think O'Malley wilts in the third. Yeah, guys. I mean, I'm excited to see this fight because Munhoz is not a bum. He's not Rolian Paiva. He's not Eddie Wineland. He's not Chris Moutinho. He's not Thomas Lamedi. He's not Jose Quinones. He's not Andrei Sigmatov. Munhoz is not a bum. I know he's 1-4 in his last 5 fights, but look at his losses: Dominic Cruz, Jose Aldo, Frankie Edgar, Aljamain Sterling, beat Cody Garbrandt, beat Brett Johns, beat Rob Font. Munhoz is no bum, so we'll see what happens here. This guy knows what he's talking about. I appreciate that. Sean is so stiff in the stand-up, and his wrestling is ass. Alex is a real bad match. Are you talking about the Sean Strickland? His wrestling's ass. Okay, well, I'll talk about that fight next. You changed your pick to Riddell. No, I did not. I don't know why that is highlighted. My bad. There we go. They're back to Turner there. Yeah, it's always been Turner. My bad. Looking like O'Malley by decision, but I put 0.5 units on Pedro. Hey, don't hate the shot, man. I mean, I'm not laying minus 300 on Sean O'Malley. I'll tell you that. But even better, like Munhoz by knockout, I saw like plus 900 on FanDuel, and we'll talk about the Lambeau Place podcast at 10 tonight. But if Munhoz wins, it's probably by knockout, and it's plus 900. I wouldn't bet on money on this fight. I would just say it goes to decision. Yeah, I would lean it goes to decision, but I'm not betting on money on this fight as well. He looked nervous yesterday, though. You talking about Sean O'Malley or who? I'm not betting it, but I have Munhoz easy. If you have Munhoz easy, you better be betting that dog money, man. Pedro is definitely a tough fight for anyone, but this is a different fight for him. It all depends. If Sean is durable, I agree with that. It's a scary fight to bet on. Yeah, I'm not betting on it. But it is a scary fight to bet on. Brother, you need to keep, the stream going to keep me betting from PFL. Absolutely. Now watch out for that PFL, man. A lot of those favorites, like they tend to drop the ball. I know people like doing those parlays with the PFL and Bellator, but those cards always seem to burn me, so I just stopped betting it a while ago. I mean, I'll watch it if I can, but I like betting on UFC. I'm going to be betting on some Contender Series as well coming up here. Going to be doing some content for that, and just don't really have time to look into those fights anyway. You mean O'Malley? Okay. I bet the fight goes the distance. PFL is shady. Yeah, absolutely. I did bet some PFL a couple weeks ago in Texas when I was in Texas, and I did really well there, but A lot of money must have been laid on Strickland after his performance at the press conference because the lines have flipped in some books. Yeah, money's been pouring in on Strickland there. All right, we'll move on to the next fight. We have Sean Strickland going against Alex Pereira. And I thought initially this would be one of those fights where we have, half the people of the week are on Sean Strickland with a big lean, and then half the people are on Alex Pereira. But no, it's not a ton of people are on Alex Pereira. The line is completely flipped, and money's continuing to pour in on Sean Strickland here. I thought we'd see more money on Pereira. I thought there's a lot of hype on this guy, but like somebody said, I mean, maybe that press conference kind of stole the show. We now see Sean Strickland minus 131, minus 135. So yeah, money coming in on Sean Strickland, and I can't completely argue it, but this fight's unbettable for me. The reason it's unbettable is I don't know the game plan of Sean Strickland. I'm not in Sean Strickland's camp. I'm not one of his coaches. I'm not in Sean Strickland's head, and thank goodness I'm not, because something's up with that guy. But what's his game plan going to be? And that will kind of tell me like how this fight's going to play out. If his game plan is making this an MMA fight, I think he goes out there, pushes Pereira against the cage, takes him down, and potentially submits this guy. If his game plan is, hey, I'm going to go test my striking, I think that I'm the better striker here. If he wants to go out there and strike with Pereira for 15 minutes, could he have success? He could. Could he get knocked out? He absolutely could. Pereira's no joke on the feet. This guy hits like a truck. So I guess it all comes down to me for the game plan of Sean Strickland, and I don't know what his game plan is. So therefore, I'm not going to be betting this fight. Actually, from a moneyline standpoint, I do have a bet on this fight. And the bet I have is going to be Sean Strickland by submission plus 1,100. And the reason being, if Sean Strickland comes in here and fights smart, gets the fight down to the mat, and you're holding a plus 1,100 submission ticket, you're going to be feeling very good. Sean Strickland, BJJ brown belt, very underrated grappling. We don't get to see it a ton. And I expected him to take down Jack Marshman and submit him. Marshman's been submitted a ton. That didn't happen. And I feel like if he takes down Pereira, he's going to be very live for that sub. Pereira has been submitted in his only loss. And again, Sean Strickland, BJJ brown belt, Sean Strickland has finished 16% of his wins by submission. So yeah, I don't mind a little shot on that sub prop. A quarter unit on it, nothing big. I just can't be confident in really anything in this fight because I just don't know the game plan of Strickland. But I do know if he gets the fight down to the mat and I'm holding that plus 1,100, I'll be feeling pretty good about it. But yeah, this is a tough fight to call. I think Strickland, if you like Strickland, I don't mind a poke on that sub prop. Strickland by decision, even plus 250. If you like Pereira, it's probably Pereira by knockout, plus 140. But even then, like they're all over that. Not a ton of value on that knockout prop. This fight really could go either way. And again, it all depends on the game plan of Sean Strickland. If you think Sean Strickland's going to make this an MMA fight, you probably like Strickland, and you best believe you liked him at plus money. If you think he's going to go out there and test his striking against Pereira, you probably like Pereira, and you probably like Pereira by knockout. But sub prop, Strickland for me, plus 1,100 quarter unit. I think that's a sneaky look. We'll see if it hits. We'll see if it does. That'd be awesome if it did. But I guess it's all up to Strickland's game plan there. Shout out to Clint. He does the tinfoil hat theory. And my tinfoil hat theory is I was checking Sean Strickland's Instagram and somebody commented, Sean Strickland's going to sub this guy or something. Like Sean Strickland's eating that sub. And then Sean Strickland actually pinned that tweet in the comments that he was going to get the submission. So he pinned that tweet, Sean Strickland sub. Just a little bit of a tinfoil hat theory. Maybe he does go for the sub. If he does, plus 1,100, I don't hate that poke. From a DraftKings perspective, either side works. Pereira, knockout upside. Strickland, takedown upside. Submission upside. Decision upside. Don't think it's a terrible fight to target in tournaments there. Come on, is Strickland a wrestler now? It's going to be a kickboxing match, so I probably have to bet Pereira. If you need to pick a side, yeah, if you think it's a kickboxing match, bet Pereira. If you think Sean Strickland is going to use his MMA skills, then bet Sean Strickland. Simple as that. I, for one, I don't know, and that's why I'm not betting this fight. Those spaces with me, the Strickland by sub. Let's roll. Don't hate a shot on that. You're selling cars at the moment. Hopefully you sell some cars, man. That's awesome. My uncle is a car salesman. I got on the Strickland plus 110. Hopefully it cashes at ultimate plus 1,000 sub. Yep, you beat the line movement there. Can Strickland survive on the feet? Yes. Can Pereira survive on the mat? No. I kind of agree with that. But I can definitely see Pereira knocking this guy out. This guy's power is insane. Pereira's all legs, so he looks huge up top, but he's definitely looked a lot bigger than Strickland. The dude's huge. He's like 6'4". I have this too. The problem is I don't think Strickland will be stronger than Pereira in the grappling department. I don't know. Andreas Michailidis controlled Pereira for like 4 minutes. Alex's takedown defense has held up thus far in the UFC. It's looked good. But against Michailidis and against Bruno Silva, who's not, I know he's a black belt, but the dude's not a grappler. He has 0 submissions. Pereira towers over him at the weigh-ins. Yeah, the dude's huge, man. Strickland is winning this one. Hey, good. I mean, all depends. I can't be confident in it. Michael Bisping used to train with Strickland. He said he was sneaky good. Yeah, he's really good on the mat. He just doesn't choose to use it. Like, he's legit on the mat. Sean could get finished here for sure, and Pereira can win by decision. Yeah, I think Sean can get finished. Pereira by decision, I don't know. That would have to look like just 15 minutes on the feet, him landing the harder shots. See? What round for the sub? It could be in any round. Yes, but he shaved Bruno and hurt him badly. Yeah, he did, especially in that 3rd round. I'm taking the over. Yeah, people are on the over 1.5. Especially with Alex working with Glover. Real heavy. Yeah, that's good news there. Bruno took him down with 0 takedown attempts his whole career. That is true. And Andreas Michailidis got him down for a second as well. Realistically, if Andreas pushed Alex against the cage for the entire 1st round, so can Sean. Yeah, Sean is a much better fighter than Michailidis. Absolutely. I mean, it's not going to make him worse, right? This fight is legit. That's how I see it. I see it as a coin flip, but again, people are really confident in that Strickland side, and money's pouring in on it. You guys are acting like Sean is some grappling guru. He couldn't even take down Uriah Hall. He did take down Uriah Hall 4 times, but no guru. But he's good. He's a really good grappler, and he should show it off here. But we'll move on to the next fight. I don't remember Bruno taking him down. Did he keep him down? He did not keep him down. I was hammered watching that. Yeah, he took him down, and then he got back up. So yeah, I mean, I've been impressed with Pereira's takedown defense is a get up game, but again, against lower level competition. All right. Goodness. All right, moving on. We have Alexander Volkanovski going against Max Holloway. If you guys know me, you guys know that I've been trying to stay away from the parlays this year, and I've had a lot of success doing so. And I do actually have 4 parlays on the year. I'm 2-1-1. We've had a ton of cards. So yeah, doing a really good job not parlaying stuff, and it's been working out in my favor quite a bit. But I'm going back to my parlay ways, and I have a parlay here as my 4th and final bet of the night. The first leg to that parlay is going to be the over 2.5 rounds in the Volkanovski Max Holloway fight. Got that at minus 350. That will be the first leg to my parlay there. Yeah, as far as, picking a winner, I like Volk here. Am I going to lay minus 205? I am not. I think it goes to decision like the first 2 fights. I think it's going to be competitive. And then it's going to be in the hands of the judges once again. The judges have been horrible. The judges, I don't know if are they scoring control or are they scoring damage? They're supposed to be scoring damage, but some fights are scoring control. Does not make sense. So yeah, not betting a money line here, but I think Volkanovski wins this one. There's a lot of hot takes out there that this fight is going to finish, and I don't know. I mean, if this fight does finish, who is it going to be that gets to finish? Is it going to be Max Holloway knocking out Volkanovski? I don't know. Max not really a power guy, kind of a death by 1,000 punches type of guy. Don't think it's overly likely that he knocks out Volkanovski. And then is Volkanovski going to be the first one to not only knock out, but knock down Max Holloway? I don't think so. He knocked out the Korean Zombie, but that's the Korean Zombie. Max Holloway has absorbed 1,800 significant strikes and never went down. I don't think it changes here. So, I don't know. I really don't see this fight finishing at all. So yeah, I like the over. I like the fight goes to decision. And it's kind of weird. A lot of people think this fight does finish, but money's just keep pouring in on that fight goes, and it's like minus 200, I think, last time I checked. But on some books, it's like minus 250, minus 260. Fight goes to decision. Looks like it just moved on Bet Online minus 220, FanDuel minus 235, and DraftKings minus 250. So yeah, money is still coming in on that fight goes. I think the fight goes. I mean, no hot take for me. I mean, if you're saying this fight finishes, that's a hot take. Then I just don't get it. But yeah, give me Volkanovski. This fight on DraftKings is a must target. I like it in cash. I like stacking it in cash. I think the winner scores very well. I think it goes to decision, lots of strikes. Just one you can't really avoid on DraftKings. So, especially at these price tags, like Max Holloway, if you win 7,200, going to score a ton. If Volkanovski wins 9,000, he's going to score a ton. I like it. But give me Volkanovski, give me the over 2.5 in that parlay there. Volkanovski, again, still, I'm leaning that way as well. Let's see here. Don't be scared of the Lawler fight. He will get it done. I'm scared of that fight, betting it. Yeah, Paul is the parlay king. I am not the parlay king. I'm not a parlay guy, but I like the over 2.5 in Max Volk, Sean O'Malley, and Izzy. Yeah, I'm with you on that. The Max Volk over. I do like that. Everybody go watch the UFC betting breakdown video on DFS by the numbers. Free plug. Appreciate that. Yeah, that did drop. That is out right now. It is out right now, guys. Let's see. You're still talking about the Sean and Pereira fight. I love it. Especially because everyone is just saying over. Both these guys going to be landing swinging bombs. I see a lot of people saying under. I don't see a lot of people talk about that over. I really think for some reason the violence is the spot here. Both guys intense at wins. Trilogy fight. One of them wants that statement win. I think Volk knocks him out in the second round. I don't know. I'd be like shocked. But anything can happen. This is MMA, and everything's a possibility. Volkanovski once, twice, 3 times the payday. Max is great. Both are, but he's 0-2 on Volk, and it's in his head. If Volk wins, probably by decision. Yeah, I think so. I honestly think 80% of these fights are real hard to pick. On this card, yeah. Max keeps saying it finishes in 3. Yeah, everybody says that, though. If Max Volk 2 had a crowd, Max wins the decision due to the crowd's reaction to Max knocks down. Yeah, he knocked him down in the first couple rounds, like twice in there. Someone sell me on a Cannonier win. I will not be that somebody. But we'll talk about that main event now. So we have Israel Adesanya going against Cannonier. This is going to complete my parlay. I have Volkanovski, Max Holloway over 2.5, parlayed with Israel Adesanya, 1.5 units at minus 170. Again, I hate parlays with a passion. Sorry, Paul, but I hate them. And I try to stay away from them, but I'd be very shocked if either of these legs don't hit. If the Max Volk fight finished under 2.5, but in general, I'd be pretty shocked. And then if Israel Adesanya lost, I'd be pretty shocked as well. I think it's a very good matchup for Adesanya. I don't think he has to worry about the takedowns. I've heard some takes that Cannonier is going to go out there and wrestle Adesanya. That's a ridiculous take. And even if he did, like Adesanya's takedown defense is very good. His get-up game is very good. He was able to stuff takedowns against Whitaker and Marvin Vettori, work his way back up. And Cannonier only has landed like 4 takedowns in his entire career. So I don't think that's on the table. And I think Cannonier's kind of screwed here. I think if he wants to stick on the outside and strike with Adesanya for 25 minutes, I think Adesanya is going to clearly run away with the decision. And I think if he tries to force that knockout, he probably gets knocked out in his own right. So I like Adesanya. I like Adesanya as a parlay piece. 1.5 units, minus 170 on Adesanya, parlayed with that over 2.5 in the Volkanovski fight is my parlay for the week. Let's see what happens. I think parlays are cursed, so hopefully it works out. But yeah, we'll see what happens there. From a DraftKings perspective, Adesanya 9,400, steep price tag. Don't really love it. Don't really love the main event in general. I'm kind of very low on the main event this week from a DraftKings perspective. I like Volkanovski more, 400 less. I like Sean O'Malley more for 100 less. That's just because Adesanya doesn't typically score well on DraftKings. He's averaging 82 DraftKings points per fight. Even in like the Costa fight, he scored really well. There's another fight he scored really well. Outside of that, it's not a big DraftKings point guy, Adesanya. I mean, kind of slow pace. He's not going to go for takedowns. I think he's really reliant on like a first or even second round finish. Might not even do it. And I kind of see this one getting extended. So Adesanya on DraftKings 9,400 going to be popular. I'm kind of okay with getting away from it. But yeah, Adesanya's the pick. Adesanya's the bet, parlayed with that over 2.5. Oh, quickly answer some questions here, then head out. Much I'm saying Adesanya decision sprinkling. Adesanya 345. Don't hate that 345, but I think it's like minus 150, something like that. Turner and Izzy parlay, probably get plus money or close to plus money for that. Not having it with Izzy minus 500. Yeah, I did parlay him at minus 425 there. Izzy will get cocky here. I really think this reminds me of the Weidman Silva. The only way Jared wins if he catches Izzy off guard and just knocks him out. Yeah, I think if Cannonier wins, it's by knockout for sure. Cannonier by knockout is plus 525. I took the fight doesn't go decision on Tuesday for a unit. I've been all over violence in this fight since I got it to announce. And yes, he did beat some linemen with there. I think it's like minus 120 now. I'm fading Izzy on DFS by the numbers. On DFS for his numbers. For the price, just is not worth it. I agree. Enjoy the fights and have a good night. You as well. Play Izzy in cash. You can fade him in GPPs for cash. Going with Volkanovski. And what else am I doing in cash? I think Volkanovski. I think I'm going Sean O'Malley instead of Adesanya. But yeah, I don't hate him in cash. I think he wins more often than not. I just think the score is going to be pretty low there. Can't wait for the Lambo plays later. Everybody tune into Narco Hub later. Absolutely. But yeah, I'll quickly go over my 4 bets. Yeah, not a ton of action. I really hate this. I hate this card from a betting perspective. I love it from a fan perspective. Lots of very sketchy fights. A lot of fights that can go either way. Not a ton of props sticking out. And this is my second least amount of bets of the year. But we have Riddell, Jalin Turner fight doesn't go 1.5 units minus 150. The fight doesn't go in the Tavares Plessis fight doesn't go there plus 105 1 unit. 1.5 units on my parlay. Adesanya parlayed with the Max Volk over 2.5. And then the Strickland by submission quarter unit plus 1,100. That is about it for me. Appreciate you, Mushroom. And yeah, you guys can follow me on Twitter, DFS_number. Instagram is DFS by the numbers. I just posted my betting breakdown video on DFS by the numbers YouTube channel. Go check that out. And I'm also doing a contest on my prediction video. I'm doing a contest on my DraftKings video. And I'm doing a contest on my betting breakdown video. So go enter those contests. Go comment down the things you need to comment down to enter that contest. I'm doing a lot of giveaways since it is a really big card. And yeah, back on my channel, DFS by the numbers tomorrow, 1 hour prior to the prelims. Narco Cop, Eric, Wheezy, Best Bet should be a very fun show there. And yeah, other than that, leave a like, subscribe here to the MMA Engine. Go live every Friday, 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern time. And yeah, should be a fun card. Best of luck, everybody. And Jesse with the dono on the way out. Appreciate the grind. I appreciate you for hanging out and appreciate the dono a ton. We'll talk to you guys very soon. And yeah, we'll see you on the Lambo Plays podcast tonight. Narco Cop MMA's channel at 10 o'clock. Me, Lou Betcha, and the guys over there. So Tim and Narco as well. So best of luck, everybody. And we'll talk to you soon. See you guys.